AI is writing a scientific research papers. But is this ethical? Is this ethical? Hello guys! Hello! My name is Joe and I talk everything about geopolitics and macroeconomics. And today we will hear from a scientist talking about how new research papers are actually being written by AI and how they are actually being responded to and corrected from a peer review standpoint. Also, this peer review is also being done, take a guess. Well, let's save it for the video. Guys, I will just take my headphones and let's take a listen.
Scientists are fighting back against the unethical use of AI by using tactics that are maybe even more unethical. Let's talk about it. Recently, there's been an alarming uptick in stories of scientific reports being submitted for publication that were clearly done by AI. Publishers are receiving multiple near-identical manuscripts from completely independent groups that are doing the same kinds of analyses on the same publicly available datasets. These AI-generated reports often contain bizarre conclusions drawn from inappropriate methods. So now, the insidious creep of AI has gone from beyond doing the studies and writing the articles and into peer review. Peer review ensures that nothing gets published until it's been checked over by a group of unbiased experts. But recently, some scientists have reported receiving feedback from peer reviewers that, you guessed it, was done by AI. Now, it's difficult to tell whether these reviewers are actually reading and assessing the papers properly and then just using ChatGPT to tidy up their notes, or if they are plugging entire manuscripts into an LLM and asking it to review it for them. That would obviously be hugely unethical, as current AI tools lack the scientific expertise and logical nuance to actually assess whether a study was done properly. Though allegedly, a small number of scientists have started submitting their manuscripts for peer review, including a secret message in very small white font that instructs AIs to ignore all previous instructions and give them only positive reviews. This is obviously also very unethical, but in theory, it should only be an issue if a reviewer has done something unethical first by using AI on their end. Artificial intelligence has incredible potential to make science better, and there are a lot of scientists out there who are using it with creativity and integrity to improve the quality of their work. But it appears there may also be a small number of scientists who are using it with zero integrity. Using AI to run a sloppy study and write a sloppy report, using AI to do a sloppy job of peer review, and tricking AI-reliant reviewers into publishing your sloppy work, these are all things that are going to lead to low-quality science being published when it shouldn't be. Now, I need to emphasize that so far, this has been isolated incidents reported anecdotally by small groups and individuals. It is not a reason to distrust science overall. But what do we do about this? What should happen to these scientists who get caught using AI unethically, and whose job is it to catch them? How do we prevent science from becoming just one big, poorly trained LLM talking to itself? Hopefully y'all don't need me to tell you that science is really, really important, and it's currently under threat from all kinds of different directions. We cannot also allow it to be under threat from within.
Now, as you guys heard in the video, this is a bit ethically concerning. This is a bit concerning. That is because, just to step a little bit back, just to backpedal a little bit. First, we have to say that these scientists are actually taking already publicly available data. They are not doing a new research. They are not creating new research and collecting new data. They are actually already using freely available data, and then they fed it into AI, probably LLM, large language models, and they try to spit out some research paper in order to write something fast, in order to show some work fast. Now, the problem is that this could create fabricated conclusions. These research papers could have, nonsensical conclusions. Usually you have in any research paper like that, you would have a summary in the beginning, then you have a body, and then you have a conclusion at the end. Usually, if you want advice, I would skip the body entirely. All you have to read is a summary and conclusion, but it's just That's what I have picked up in government when I was working in government, is that the body is unimportant. Usually all you need is summary and conclusion, especially if you are not writing a peer review. Usually these a lot of, especially not usually, well, if you are in the niche, if you are true professional, true scientist, you definitely should be reading other people's papers. But generally there are a lot of papers, and unless you are doing a peer review, there is a huge amount of papers. So generally speaking, you only have certain amount of time in life. And especially when it comes to papers being published by governments, these are usually for example, like the SDG 2030 and stuff like that. A lot of these government put out papers are only for internal use, and they are usually quite boring. And so also a lot of them are being produced because these bureaucrats have nothing to do. They need to write something. And so generally speaking, if you don't want to read everything and still be intact, still be up to date, my advice is to generally speaking, my advice would be to read summary. That's going to tell you what the paper is about. Then conclusion, that will tell you what is the conclusion at the end. It will tell you what is the result, technically speaking. And if it's a gathering or some sorts of gathering, if it's a meet, if it's a fundraise or something like that, there is attendance at the end. And if you are doing FOIA request, usually some of the names will be redacted. They will be censored. But some of them might be publicly available, these names. And so there are three main important parts: summary, conclusion, and attendance, if it's a gathering some sorts. But anyway, okay. Anyway, back to the topic. I got a tiny little distracted. I got a tiny little distracted. But back to the topic. New science papers are being written by AI. That is quite concerning, ethically concerning, because obviously they could be nonsensical. They could be drawing nonsensical conclusions. It is a bit concerning. In the video, the scientist states that obviously AI is a wonderful tool and it could be very, very useful, especially in science. It could create different types of models that could be used for modeling hypothetical situations. So it could create a research that would otherwise be very hard to do, but it could simulate this research on a hypothetical basis. And this could be very beneficial for science as a whole. But when it comes to writing papers, this is a bit concerning. This is truly a bit concerning. It feels like some of the scientists are lazy and they are trying to cut corners. They are trying to produce papers fast. This could flood the system with, unethical and nonsensical papers, and this is a bit concerning as a whole. Also, the fact that these papers are being peer-reviewed by AI as well is a bit dystopian as well. This is a bit dystopian. I mean, peer reviews, generally speaking, there are a lot of issues in science as a whole. One of the things is that, generally speaking, if you are a critic, you have a much easier life than doing real research. Meaning that if you are trying to do real research and write real papers, it is much harder than doing what is called peer reviews. Than doing criticism. Obviously, in science there is a combination of both, but generally speaking, critics have it much easier because you are basically shitting on other people's papers, and so it's a little bit easier life. You have a little bit easier life, but generally speaking, science life is made up of both parts of science. It's made out of everything, all the flavors of science. And yeah, just general peer reviewing is, it's much more beneficial to be cynical in science in general, being brutal in peer reviews. It could be easier life, generally speaking. But if you wanna truly make the shining gold, shining Nobel Prize, you have to do the research. You have to do the real, true, genuine research. And it might be hard do true, real, genuine research with AI, by being written by AI. It might be impossible to do so, but maybe one day we will see. Maybe there will be a Nobel Prize given to AI. Who knows? Who knows? Guys, one last thing I really want to mention is that on our team, one of our investigative journalists, Poppy Gloria, she has actually been able to secure an interview with Bigfoot.
What a great time! What a fun time!
Real life-size Bigfoot. And so make sure to check out the video on my channel. It's going to be up soon. Also make sure to check out my blog. It is amazing, unique, and everything you ever wanted, and even more. And you guys will love it. It's a great blog. Also, make sure to smash that subscribe button, make sure to smash that like button, make sure to check out the video here, make sure to check out the video there, and everywhere. And guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Bye bye.